This is Library Nerds with Words, the podcast that gives you the word on all the cool, nerdy happenings at Peter White Public Library and the library universe beyond. From books and concerts to search engines and story times, the library nerds are in and ready to show you that being a nerd can be cool. Get ready, get set, get nerdy. Welcome to this special movie roundtable edition of Library Nerds with Words. Of course, we have everyone's two favorite movie nerds, Ben and Amanda here. Ben from Tech Services and Amanda from the Teen Zone. And we are here as a wrap-up talking about what happened this past weekend on Oscars 2024. But before we get into talking about who won, who didn't, who was embarrassing and all that, we are going to try some jelly beans this time. We're going totally safe here.
Yeah, Amanda, tell us about the jelly beans. Well, this was your idea.
Well, I was at the dollar store looking for just random things to work on. And they had Warhead jelly beans, Kool-Aid jelly beans, Jell-O jelly beans, and Fruit Loops. So I'm like, okay, those would be fun to try. And I'm like, wait a minute, you know who's got some really interesting ones? Target. They have Clausen pickle ones.
So disgusting.
Marty, no, let's hear it.
Part
of my loathing of cheese is like canon on this podcast, so you have to come clean.
All right, I'm coming clean. I have a severe phobia about pickles. I cannot eat pickles. I cannot stand the smell of pickles.
But I
don't even like looking at pickles.
Oh, this is all stuff I've said to you. Sitting next to
we're all sitting and wearing green shirts, by the way.
I know, but it's St. Patrick's Day. Come on. It has nothing to do with pickles.
But I couldn't find... They were all sold out of the pickle jelly beans.
Darn it.
So I bought Sour Patch ones, watermelon.
I can
Sour
do that.
Patch which I love the Sour Patch watermelon. They have like a special place in my heart. But you know what? They're not the same from the early 2000s. The ones in the 2000s used to be like the size of a $50, like the 50-cent piece, and they were super flat. And, like, they were tart. And now they're, like, these little, like,
they look
quarter-sized fat things. No, they're, like, the original, like, the watermelon.
Oh, okay.
Like, they're, like, little pieces, like, they're supposed to be, like, a gummy-sized one. But I'm like, no, I want my flat one back that's, like, the size of a $50. So, yeah, we have all these different jelly beans.
See, none of them offend me, so I'm good.
The Warheads have, like, a weird texture.
Okay, I'm going to try a Warhead.
Got, like a coating on them.
They got, like, a sugar coating or something.
Yeah.
Warheads, the Fruit Loop ones taste like Fruit Loops.
Okay, I'm eating the Jell-O ones right now.
Those Warhead ones are good. Not bad.
The Jell-O ones are not jelly
She didn't bring
shaped.
my favorite, which is Brock's.
Well, I didn't... So. Okay, so, like, we've all had Brock's and we've all had Jelly Bellies. Although I did show Andrea a hilarious video this morning of a couple doing a Bean Boozle challenge. And they were all peppers. I sent it to you, too.
Oh. Yeah.
Oh my god, they had, like, the cayenne one, or, like, the California... They couldn't even do it. Like, they literally, like, the dad spit takes it across the room, and then all of a sudden he's chugging out of the gallon of milk. It was hilarious.
Wow.
I
okay, the
laughed
Fruit Loops ones taste exactly like Fruit Loops. Kool-Aid.
The Kool-Aid ones taste like Kool-Aid.
The Jell-O ones aren't as, like...
This is riveting content.
Oh my god. This is really good. The Kool-Aid ones.
Yeah.
They do taste like...
All right.
All right. And what are these Jell-O?
They're okay.
Okay, let's get on to some content. Everyone is clicked off now.
Yeah.
No, we're having jelly beans.
We should talk... Well, this is sort of like a prelude to Easter, too, because we're eating jelly beans.
Kool-Aid ones are good.
Kool-Aid ones.
So let's talk... Get everybody's reactions as to the Oscars this past Sunday.
I'm just going to put it out there, I couldn't watch them, and I had FOMO, and it was terrible, because the two of you were texting me.
Well, you asked to be kept updated.
I know, but I'm like, you're like, oh, this is going on, and I'm like, oh.
Well, let's give our overall thoughts, just generally. I'll go first. I thought it was a really good show. There wasn't huge surprises, but there were a lot of awards that had kind of like... that were toss-ups. So they did make it hard to predict. Let's talk about... We did come up with a ballot. We all three of us did our picks, which we did last year, and I...
You won.
You won.
I killed it last year. I only had two wrong. So this time, Amanda's tell us about whose is that?
So my friend Dave Luya from college has an Oscar pool, and they do it every year. So we submitted a ballot, and we tied for first place.
Yeah, the three of us. Well, we went with my picks.
Right.
Yeah, because your picks were pretty much yours and Marty were the
We
same.
agreed. I mean, I did all of my research and filled out my ballot.
Yeah.
And we were literally category for category, I think, in that one.
Yeah, so my friend Dave does this. It's like a $5 buy-in. I'm like, I just want my $5 back. That's all I want.
And what did we win, Amanda?
$14.
$14.
We had to tie for a three-way tie because Dave even does it. He even like assigns points to each category. And
Wow,
so that
this
way,
is
if there is
serious.
a tie, they
Right.
can do a tiebreaker. And I can't believe there was a three-way tie for first. I don't think
Well,
I've ever seen that. Like, this is my first year, like, actually, like, doing it. Like, I always am invited, but I'm like, I never watch and pay attention enough. And I'm like, that's it. We're going to do this because we always talk about the Oscars. And
Yes.
Well, and
those taste just like the cereal, by the way. That's
in
why.
my Oscar pool, what we do is we have 18 categories that are regular categories, and then we take the small ones like best documentary short and everything
Yeah.
like that. Those are tiebreaker categories, so we have 5 of those.
Oh, okay.
Oh, that's
So that's
smart.
that's how we do it. So if you are ahead in the 18 categories that are the main categories, it doesn't matter how well you did in the tie-breaking categories because that's the determination. However, if there's a tie
then you go to those.
then we go to those, and
Yeah.
whoever gets the most of those wins. So I did not myself. Like Ben, I only got four wrong.
Yeah.
For all of the awards.
All 23.
All
yeah.
23, but unfortunately or fortunately for my brother-in-law, he picked everything but 2 right.
That's wild.
So that's
Well, that's what
it
I
was
did
crazy.
last year, so it is
Yeah.
possible. We still did really good.
I mean, no one saw the film Upset, or the animated one. Like, we all thought
Right.
Spider-Man had that one.
We thought Spider-Man,
But it was a toss-up. Like, that could go either way, but, like, all the predictions I'd seen were edging out. I think the Spider-Man movie, Across the Spider-Verse, was a slight favorite. But the Miyazaki movie won. And it's his second Oscar.
and deservedly so. I
haven't
mean, he's an amazing animator.
Well, it's Miyazaki,
Yeah.
you know. So...
But that one sort of surprised me a little bit.
Well, let's talk a little bit about the specific movies. So, Oppenheimer was the big winner of the night.
How many did it win eventually?
It won 7.
Oh,
It
7.
won 7. It was nominated for like 13. So
So it could have won more.
It took half, which is...
It was the big winner of the night. It won Best Picture, Best Director,
Best
Actor, Best Supporting Actor, Best Cinematography, Best Score, Best Editing.
Who won costumes, then? I missed that one.
costumes
Poor Things.
went
Poor
to Poor
Things.
Things. Yeah.
So Oppenheimer, now, all of us watched it, right? What did we think? I loved Oppenheimer.
It was good. It was really long. David fell asleep. But, I mean, you have to sit there and think about it. It was one of those, like, it was a very slow build-up. Like, because it was going back and forth between, like,
Yes, it
them
jumps
doing,
time.
like, jumps time. And
Yeah.
it was... David, I think, thought it was going to be more of a, like, oh my god, here they're testing the bomb and they're dropping it. I'm like, no, this is more of the backstory, which I appreciate
Yes.
as someone who enjoys history.
You got to tell the story. I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah. I mean, I thought it was... I never got bored. I thought that 3 hours... how long is it? 3 hours?
3
and
hours and something.
minutes?
yeah, it's 3:20 maybe.
It never seemed to drain
No.
for me.
No, because there was always something was always going on,
Yeah.
and it was always explaining something.
Yeah, Nolan's really good at that. Like, I don't think Nolan, to me, I don't think he can make a boring movie.
Yeah.
Now, I really like Nolan, but he's made a few of his movies, like, don't work for me. Like, Interstellar is just too much to
Yeah.
me. Like, it's too
I think
weird.
I fell asleep. during
Tenet
that one.
was just too weird for me, too. Dunkirk was really good. I still think Dark Knight's a masterpiece. That
Knight.
I loved the Batman movies. And all
Yeah,
those.
they were great. Inception was awesome.
Inception is, I think, my favorite Nolan movie. out
but
of
like
all of
people
them.
can be really mixed on Nolan. But he's a great filmmaker. He's like, I'm glad he finally has an Oscar.
He should have won a while ago, but...
Yeah,
you
but
know,
then you say like, well, then for what? Like specifically, because
yeah, I guess you're right, because I would say I thought he was going to get it for Dunkirk for a little while, but he didn't.
no.
And I thought for sure... well, no, actually, when he was nominated for The Dark Knight, wasn't he?
No.
Oh, my
Dark
God,
Knight didn't.
he wasn't.
Remember, it was a
Oh,
big.
yeah.
know.
That
People
was
are
before
upset.
they started nominating like superhero
Yeah.
movies.
Right, and that was when there was just 5.
Right.
Nowadays, that would
There's
definitely
10,
be nominated.
right?
There's 10.
If there can be up to 10.
Up to 10.
No, now it's 10 for sure. They
Oh,
changed
for sure.
it.
Oh, they
Yeah.
changed the rules again. They're changing lots of rules.
Yeah, so speaking of rule changing, there's a new category they announced
Next
that's going to
year,
be next
right?
year.
Yep.
Best achievement in casting. What do we think? I think it's an awesome idea.
I think it's a great
Get
idea.
more of the other side, not just the acting.
Well, it's just because there is a lot that goes into assembling these casts and, these casting directors. Like,
It's not like they just give it to the biggest star that they
No,
can
they gotta
give it
find-
to.
no, they got to find the right people.
Right.
Yeah, and the
So-
right eclectic mix of
So
people.
that will be very interesting because, like, now we will start to know casting directors.
Mm-hmm.
Because you think of, like, cinematographers and costume designers and, like, the people who do the score, the, conductors. Like, we know a bunch of their names because of, like, awards.
Stuff like
Awards,
this,
yeah.
We don't know any of these casting
Well,
directors.
and think about this with casting directors. If they didn't do a good job, the movie is going to be terrible.
no, it's essential
It's
to the
insane.
movie.
I mean, it's the first step to making a great movie.
Mm-hmm.
Right, but I'm just so excited to be like years from now and just be like, well, these are like the top casting directors. We don't know. I don't know any of these people.
I have no idea. I mean, you see it casting by, and it just sort of scrolls
Yeah,
by.
and if you watch special features on, like, I don't know if anyone watches special
Oh, I do,
features
yeah.
anymore, but, like, they always have, like, the casting directors on there, and so I'm very excited. And also, and this was a conversation people have been having for years, during the Oscars, there was a little bit with Emily Blunt and Ryan Gosling because they are co-starring in the movie The Fall Guy that's coming out this year.
Right.
And it's about a stunt man. So they did a little, like, here's the history of stunts reel.
Oh, that
Yeah.
would be kind of cool to see.
Now, there's been talk for a very long time about
I'm
having
surprised it hasn't happened. but-
so having best stunts as an Oscar. Now, what's really interesting about that is, like, I've read, like, stuff from actual stunt people who don't want it to be an award.
Why?
Because they're afraid that it'll induce people to be too risky.
What about
Oh,
like because
that
there's
makes
that
sense.
there's that bio
So
there's
that's-
that movie with the Harry Potter guy, the guy who worked on Harry.
Yeah, Daniel Radcliffe's
The-
stunt double was
yeah,
paralyzed.
he was paralyzed in one of the Harry Potter movies,
And that's just
And
so
there's a whole,
really?
yeah, there's a
Yeah.
whole movie. I haven't watched it yet. I think is it on HBO?
yeah, it was a documentary that came out this year.
Yeah,
too.
Wow, I
it looked
didn't know that.
really interesting because like they're still friends and
Yeah,
like
he's in a wheelchair.
he's a paraplegic.
He's paraplegic,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's
Wow.
yeah, and it was something so. It didn't seem like a big stunt. Even
No.
it was just the way he like fell. I can't
So-
remember.
So there's I don't know. There's a YouTube channel called Corridor Crew, and they're in LA and they do visual effects. They like make their own YouTube movies and stuff. It's a really awesome channel. Marty, you would really like this too. They do react videos, and they started out doing visual effects artists react to good and bad CGI, okay? But then they extended it. Now, they've done, for the past few years, stuntmen react to good and bad stunts, and they will have, like, someone from Corridor Crew, and then they sit on this couch, and they just go through clips, and viewers send in clips, and they look at, like, really awesome fight scenes from, like, Bruce Lee to, like, modern day, like, different stunts, how they do them. So they have all kinds of different stunt people on, like, the guy who stunt doubles Black Panther, his name is Guy Da Silva. He's always on there, but they've got different people. And many times, these different people, they've brought it up, and they're like, no, we should. They can't make this an Oscar because we know the industry, and
They would just keep on pushing it.
it would be people would be pushing it to try because that's who they'd give. It would be like Tom Cruise would want to win. He would jump from space.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So. Because I saw that talk yesterday where they're like, why isn't there a stunt Oscar? They did the stunt reel. But I think maybe it would be a bad idea.
Well, and putting it in that light, yeah, I think it would be a terrible idea because it's just.
But then it's like it's such an integral part to movies, and like how can you recognize that is like a real question. You know what I mean? So
I mean, I know that legally they have to be safe and do things.
yeah, they're
safely,
stunt coordinators, but there's still risk.
Yeah.
Right.
And they do everything to mitigate the risk, but there is still risk. Like a lot of times, like if you ever watch any of these videos with the reacts, like it's just like, nope, send it. Like that dude jumped and he just fell. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of to that. Like, you know, sometimes you can't wear pads because of what costume is wearing, and because of like the set, they can't pad it. Like,
well, even Tom Cruise doing his own stunts. I mean, he smashed his. I mean, you've seen that one where he smashed his ankle and it goes in a weird direction. Terrible to see.
Yep.
If you want to see it,
the reason why he can do that is because he produces all his own movies.
Right.
They would never let anyone else do that. So, but we're getting what's up?
So I just looked up the Harry Potter one. And he his stunt work was the pulley system. They added more weight so it would launch Harry through the air.
Yeah.
And it was too much. And he knew the moment that he said his neck broke.
Oh,
wow.
So, I mean, it was something that he's done. But there was just too much weight, and it was just one thing.
See, and that's a safety thing. Then. So
all
right.
And he could go down that whole thing. Like
next year we get casting. Who knows if it's going to happen with stunts? But I mean, I would think that the people who are part of any kind of I don't know.
It'd have to be equity.
Well, I mean, do they have like a stunt like labor union? Stunt person's labor union or anything? So
they're like independent. Because they'll come onto a production for like a certain number of time. They're not there the whole time. Usually, like the stunt coordinator will be, but then like they will go out and hire like the stunt people they need. It. Yeah.
Okay.
So it's interesting, but let's get back to the Oscars.
Okay.
What did we? So we liked Oppenheimer. It won big. The next winning movie was Poor Things. Now I watched it. Marty watched it.
Yeah.
Amanda, do not watch this.
I know. Marty was telling me like the basis of it. I'm like, I'm gonna watch this. I'll just have to do it when the girls are away.
They can't be present.
No, absolutely not.
If you do watch it, please text me the whole time.
I will go in the group thread and I will text you. Oh my god, what is going on? This is so weird. I'm sure
it is a beautiful movie to look at and gorgeous. I mean, the production design and everything.
I'm sure
gorgeous.
I will watch it. It's just a matter of when my kids are gone.
Like Marty, when you were watching it, like I was getting like Terry Gilliam vibes.
Yes,
right,
absolutely.
But like even more, like because this movie, it's very like it can be like raunchy at times. I mean, the whole premise of it is like Emma Stone's character Bella. So like Willem Dafoe plays a guy named Godwin Baxter, who they just call God, which gets really. And he finds a woman who jumped off a bridge to kill herself, who is pregnant, and he gets the body, and he basically it's like a Frankenstein's it. So he takes the brain out of the fetus and puts it in her. So she's got like an infant brain. And
so the baby was still alive,
yes.
And Emma Stone's character Bella was dead.
Right. So he swapped the brains and then like adds electricity Frankenstein style.
Yep.
So
could do a whole Frankenstein movie podcast. We were talking about this the other day, Marty.
Yeah. So she's like learning, and then Rami Youssef's character Max, he's like a science student that knows Godwin, and Godwin like hires him to like collect data on Bella, but then Bella is just growing up, and she
matures at an accelerated rate.
Yes, they even say like her hair's growing like 1 inch a week, and she's this performance. So Emma Stone wins for Best Actress.
That's a big surprise because everybody...
But, I mean, they had split a lot of the awards,
I know, but everybody...
People were like, this is Lily Gladstone.
This is Lily Gladstone's year.
But Emma Stone, this was a performance. She gave it 110%.
Oh, my gosh, yeah. Like, and so different from La La Land, which she won Best Actress for before.
It's different than anything I've ever seen. I was texting with Alyssa, and I was like, I don't think I've quite seen this before, honestly.
I'll have to watch it.
So good. But
I liked it, but it's not for everybody.
No. It is in black and white, but there's also color.
I've seen like clips of it.
It's more like it's in sepia.
Yeah.
Then it gets more colorful when she gets out into the world. Mark Ruffalo, I want to shout out, he was very good in it.
Yeah. And Willem Dafoe is amazing in it.
Yes.
And what's really interesting about it, because it is basically a Frankenstein movie, but Frankenstein's monster is gorgeous, and Dr. Frankenstein, Willem Dafoe's character, is disfigured because his father was a surgeon as well and wanted to perform all these experiments to see what would happen if we take this out of the body and that. And so he does all of these experiments on his son. So we just got a "you" from Andrea. So it's it's an amazing movie.
It's very unique.
It's on Hulu.
It is on
right
Flipped
Hulu,
up on Hulu, and I'm
but
like,
not something to watch with children.
Nope.
Whatsoever.
it would have been my Saturday movie if I was thinking.
In fact, have you seen this whole thing on the internet about how the joke that Jimmy Kimmel made after they showed the sequence from Poor Things? Have you seen this?
No, what did he?
Oh, because he made a joke like those are the only scenes that we could actually show.
Oh yeah,
on TV.
he's like, and that's all we can from the entire movie we could show.
And it really upset Emma Stone, and she turned to.
I did say that she said, "Oh, that
She said, according to all the sources, and I've looked at.
I did see this.
Yeah, she turned to her husband and said, "What a." I will spell it out. I won't say it. What a PRICK. So
I saw that. I mean, to me, that joke is funny, and it's literally true.
It is literally.
So I don't
true.
know why she's getting upset.
Because I have barely seen any commercials for this movie on TV.
Well, I mean,
everything. The one thing I kept seeing in the trailer was that when Rami is walking with him, and he's like, "It's your body, Bella. Like yours to do freely." Because she goes to France to become a prostitute.
Not to become a prostitute, but she figures that's the only way she could make money.
Well, and plus she's interested in it.
Yes.
It's not like this movie is hard to explain.
This is really hard to explain.
I'll watch it. I'll have to figure out what
we will talk about Poor Things on
We're gonna
an
do a
upcoming
Frankenstein
podcast. Yeah, but I mean, so Oppenheimer cleans up big. Poor Things does really well as well. Unfortunately, Killers of the Flower Moon is skunked. Other movies are skunked too.
Maestro.
Barbie?
The Maestro.
No, Barbie won.
Barbie won. Okay. Billie Eilish won for Best Song, which totally deserves it.
Can we talk about the songs?
Well,
I was saving that for the end.
Okay, we'll save that for the end.
Let's save the best for last.
That's what, I got to watch all the clips.
Well, let's. I mean, Ben,
we can keep going.
Well, I just wanted to talk about just the movies that got skunked.
Yeah. Okay.
So, Killers of the Flower Moon.
Yep.
1-0.
Yep.
I really thought Lily was gonna win. Her
She's
dress was
amazing.
Gorgeous.
She was absolutely amazing.
Wow. I thought lots of people looked really good.
And and some people were saying, "Oh, it's Martin Scorsese's best film." It's not Martin Scorsese's best film. It's a good movie. I mean,
it's really long.
Martin Scorsese doesn't make uninteresting movies.
No,
I don't think.
We just talked about this.
Yeah.
I would have liked to seen it as a mini series to go more in depth because I feel like you said, they didn't talk about any of the FBI stuff really until the end, and there was so many more families that were involved.
It was still, and I think one of my favorite moments in dealing with Killers of the Flower Moon was the drum circle and the song that they played. At the Oscars.
So that was
amazing.
live. That was pretty rad.
That was amazing too. But yeah, Killers of the Flower Moon. Sorry, Martin.
But you got to think and then his movie before that. So The Irishman got skunked too,
and which was a great movie.
And it's no one has lost more than this man, which is crazy.
Has he ever won an Oscar?
Yeah,
for
the
Departed. Remember, we just talked about this last week.
Okay. But that's his only one he's ever won.
Yeah, he's been nominated quite a few times.
Okay.
Well, this was his 10th time being nominated for Best Director.
Poor guy.
Yeah, but I'm saying he's lost so many times. But so Killers, so Maestro, I have not watched it yet.
I haven't watched it yet.
It's good. It's
That's
really
what everyone
good.
says is good, but
it's not fantastic.
Yeah.
But I mean,
We went to turn it on one night, and David's like, "Let's watch the trailer," and we watched the trailer. He's like, "No."
Yeah, I mean, I haven't seen him make a bad movie.
No.
I mean, he's really good at making movies.
Bradley
Cooper. I mean, he's a great actor, great director. He wrote the script for Maestro with somebody.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it was a good movie. But unfortunately, it was up against movies that were much, much better.
Which happens.
This year.
It seems like Brad, and this has been kind of the talk, this whole Oscar campaign, like Bradley Cooper, he wants it too bad. This man really wants an Oscar. I was listening to the Best Picture podcast. If you are listening to this and you want to hear a way better movie podcast, The Big Picture by The Ringer, and they're just like, we need to get this man an Oscar quick, or the next thing he's going to do, he's going to cast himself as Jesus. That's how desperate he is.
He's that desperate. Yeah.
And it's like, he's great.
Well, Jimmy Kimmel made that joke. He was like, because Bradley Cooper always brings his mother to award shows. And Jimmy Kimmel made this joke like, how many times can you bring your mother as your date to an award show before you're actually dating your mother? And then he said to Bradley Cooper, he was like, is your next movie going to be about Freud?
Yeah. That was pretty funny. So, yeah, Maestro, it never had a shot, and it never was really contending.
No.
And Brad, hang in there, man. So...
Zone of Interest?
Zone of Interest, which is next that I'm definitely going to watch.
But that one won one Oscar.
It won 2. It won International Feature, and it won Sound.
Okay,
so the one kind of... The biggest surprise, and it's hard to say like it's a shock because it's like a lower end award, but I thought Oppenheimer had sound in the bag, especially when I rewatched it on Saturday, and I had headphones, I was watching my laptop, and I'm like, the sound is so on point with everything, and Zone of Interest beat it for sound, so that was really interesting.
I'm interested. I don't know. Is it Zone of Interest streaming anywhere yet?
Let's look it up.
I don't know. I'm sure. I mean, I'm sure you can.
I'm sure it's going to eventually. Now that it's won some Oscars and people are aware of it.
Well, I imagine it's an A24, and those are all going to end up on Max. So eventually it will. So what else?
You can buy it on Apple.
Okay. Ooh, it's an Apple movie?
This is buy on Apple.
Well, it's to rent it, because I'm sure you can on Amazon.
You can rent on
too.
other things,
All right.
To rent it. So those were kind of the contenders.
I was shocked by Emma Stone, but I shouldn't have been shocked by Emma Stone because, like you said, I mean, they've been
it had
going
been
back
neck and neck,
forth.
but just people were just thought like, okay, Emma Stone's got an Oscar already, which
right. Well, and I thought after the SAG where Lily Gladstone won, I was like, okay, this is it.
We were talking about that because
but SAG does not have as many members as the Academy, right?
Nope.
So that's
even
where
close.
it is. The Academy has thousands and thousands. 10,000 members, international and everything.
Huge international
I think
branch.
that's what pushed Emma Stone over the edge.
Yeah,
compared to Lily Gladstone.
Yeah, because the director of Poor Things,
sense.
Yorgos Lanthimos, he's Greek, so So
And-
it definitely was the international.
And Emma Stone was nominated for 2 Oscars that night. People don't realize because she was also the producer of Poor Things.
She was a producer, yeah.
So she's a force.
She's great. Now she's got 2 Oscars, and she's still... Me and Marty were talking about this morning in front of the Cirque desk before we're open, where we do have lots of meaningful
cinematic conversation.
Well, I'm rolling my cart by, and you're walking up the stairs, and it's like, nope, stop, and then that's where we do our best work.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we talked about how now Emma Stone's got 2, and she's on track. How many can she get? And then we talked about say that
Jodie Foster.
You say that, and then they might never win one again.
Yeah.
You don't know. Jodie Foster won Best Actress in 1988 and then won it again in 1991. So won it twice in 3 years. And then at that point, it's like, she going to get 5?
Yeah.
And nothing else, right?
And she was nominated one more time for Nell in 95 and then was not nominated until Sunday.
Well, I think they were punishing her for Nell. That's why.
Nell's a really weird movie that we will never talk about that on this podcast.
It was, you don't want to talk about Tay in the Wind or anything like that.
But I'm just saying it's so hard,
Yeah.
But I felt bad for Lily.
Although she looked really excited.
I mean, Emma Stone
I
was
think
super
Lily
I
took
think
gracious.
it was genuine.
Yeah.
No,
It wasn't like a fake, I'm so happy.
No.
Well, there was a thing in her yearbook.
Yes, I've seen that all over. It's most like her high school yearbook.
Her high school yearbook.
Yeah.
Most likely to win an Oscar. I'm like, well, she's almost there.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully this will just lead to her getting better roles, and we'll see her back here again.
Yeah.
One other thing I want to mention is the acting awards.
Yes.
Usually you have the previous winner from the other gender introduced.
Oh, I love that. Yeah.
This time, which they've done one other time in 2008, they had 5 former winners, and each former winner introduced a current nominee.
That was neat. I did see some of those clips.
I loved that. I wish they would do this every year. So, for instance, like for Best Actor, they had Nicolas Cage, McConaughey, Forrest Whitaker, Brendan Fraser, and Ben Kingsley.
Yeah, amazing.
And it was interesting to see the pairings. So, like, for Best Supporting, it was Sam Rockwell and Tim Robbins. And, like, Sam Rockwell introduced Robert Downey Jr. and Mahershala Ali did Mark Ruffalo. You know, it was awesome. Like,
and Rita Moreno introduced
America Ferrera,
which
that
was
was
fantastic.
That's cool.
yes.
Yeah.
I did see that clip.
Yeah, it was. I mean, they should do that every year because the last time they did it was 2008. You said,
and that was the first time.
It would be something fun to bring back because, and they started them an hour earlier.
Oh,
thank
huge
goodness.
win!
I love
Yes.
that. That was great.
Well, because they start at 8, and then someone's speech always gets cut off at 11, and it's usually like the big winners. And it's like then they're like rushed, and like I just feel like give them 4 hours.
Yeah, it was done by 10:30. I think it
wrapped
pretty
up.
much.
Jimmy
wrapped
kept
up.
threatening it was going to go longer and longer.
and in fact, he seemed to be stretching it at the end for some reason. So,
So there's that. Anything else before we get to the big finale?
You know, I just
John Cena.
Oh,
Oh,
yes,
my
we
gosh,
have to.
yeah,
Okay, John
John
Cena had
John Cena.
John Cena. I couldn't see him.
there's a huge smile on Amanda's face.
It was so fun. But like, okay, so he was talking about costume design. And
I thought that was such a clever bit.
And like, I have a really good friend, Reagan, who's in costume design, and she works out in San Diego as a theater costumer. And like, seriously though, like, if you don't have a good costume designer, you are screwed.
Yeah.
And I just I don't know. I don't think he had anything on.
No, he did. So there's pictures that have been
there is?
released. He had just for people
He had
who
like
haven't.
the tiniest dance belt on. Must be.
No, he had a little tiny pocket on his junk. Is what he
Okay.
had. So basically, if you have
So less than a dance belt.
have you seen this, Marshy?
Just
images.
Okay.
see, Marshy's smiling too.
So, if you don't know what happened, so like Jimmy Kimmel introduces, he said 50 years ago, this is the 50th anniversary, a pretty famous incident where David Niven was on stage and a streaker streaked by. And he's like, we're going to recreate that tonight, aren't we? And then like John Cena, who's like appearing to be like totally naked, is like at the edge of the stage, like peeking out, like, I don't want to do this
Jimmy,
anymore.
No, I'm not doing it.
And then he's like, we gotta do it. And then my favorite line was like, Jimmy's like, you wrestle naked. And he goes, no, I wrestle in jorts. And Jimmy goes, that's worse than
That's
being
worse than being naked.
So then he's going to introduce best costume. So he's got an extra large envelope with the winner in it, over his private parts. He like waddles to the microphone.
So good.
And he just sits there and he's just like, costumes are really important. In fact, they may be the most important.
And then he had to have Jimmy come and open the envelope.
And then they put like some stuff on him, but I loved that. I love those. They should do more creative bits than just like getting two randos out there to introduce an award.
Well, and I think what I also loved about that was all the memes that came after.
Oh yeah.
Oh my gosh, so good. The luchadorian mask and shorts was one of my favorites.
Well, and I think Jimmy Kimmel did a decent job.
Yes.
There weren't too many moments. There was one moment where he was sort of teasing Robert Downey Jr.
That was going on too long, because that's just that all we were talking about that this morning. All that's been said, like, and that was so long ago, just about his.
And even Downey, I mean, he played along for a little bit, but then he was like
done.
Well, because he knew it was coming,
right?
But he did win an Oscar that night, so he's probably not too mad.
Right,
about it.
exactly. So, but there weren't too many cringy moments at all. It was really entertaining. For some reason, they had David
should-
Allen Greer in the back.
I saw he was the announcer, and
was
I
the
was like,
announcer.
David Allen Greer.
Yeah. And he
Next
didn't
year
really
we should
do a
watch
lot.
them all together.
Oh,
that might be fun.
Yeah, absolutely.
Wow.
But, okay, let's get to the big moment, everybody's favorite moment.
So
Go ahead.
I really loved the drum circle. Like,
Yes.
that was amazing. Billy's song was
Beautiful.
beautiful.
Yeah.
I didn't get to see did I watch the other ones?
So the other one with Becky G did the Flaming Hot Cheetos
I did.
song.
I
was really good.
I didn't watch
It
that
was
one.
very short.
It is
she
very
sang for like 1 minute 30, and she had some kids up there, and I was like, okay,
No, but can we all just talk about Ryan Gosling?
that's what we're here to talk about.
Winning with Billy and Margot laughing so hard in that pink rhinestone cowboy outfit.
So it starts out right. So Amanda, it starts out. He's in the crowd
Yes,
with the
it's so
cowboy
great.
hat on,
and the
Billy
pink suit.
Billy's over his shoulder, trying just not to lose it, and then it shows Margot, and she's just laughing
She's
her
lost
butt
it.
off.
He takes the hat off and puts it on. Was it his sister or something?
I don't know who that
Okay,
was.
but it was a family member sitting beside him, and then he goes up. But he pays homage to the Marilyn Monroe
Diamonds
number,
Are a
Yeah.
Girl's
which
Best Friend.
Margot Robbie did in Birds of Prey.
Ooh, good shout.
See,
Amanda.
I've been watching. I
Wow.
like. I the Ken song, man. I just love.
She's
the Ken
been
song.
watching
But then they
theories.
get Slash up there,
Yeah.
and then the Barbie head, and then they had the other Kens up there. They had Simeon and
Simu.
Simu
Liu,
and,
and then Kingsley Benadire were the two ones I caught that are
There
from
was
the movie.
there was four of them. The four ones. The four of them were in there.
Well, because like Nkudi Ngawe was not there.
There was four. They said from the movie that were up
Okay,
there.
because there were a few, but I mean the big ones that like you remember, like Simu's the second
Yeah.
biggest Ken in the movie.
There was the Ken. Then there was the
They looked familiar, but I don't know their names.
No, it was the Ken with the brown hair. Oh, I can't think of it. Which Ken he was, but yes,
There were many Kens.
I know, but that, and then they had the big Barbie heads and the karate chop.
It was just
It
really
was so
good. From
and
the,
then everybody singing along.
yes, they
Yeah.
got. I mean, and she got Greta Gerwig singing, and
Emma Stone.
Emma Stone.
That they
yeah.
supposedly she popped her dress at that moment. She's pretty sure that's when that she was dancing.
That's what she said, because she did a little, because they're like sealed in those
They're-
They
things.
are.
Yeah.
You're
And
in
then-
that thing.
Yeah, when she won later, she's like, I busted my
And
dress.
she showed it off.
They had to like sew her back up. But she got a line because Ryan went down into the crowd again in the front row. So you had Greta and Margot and America Ferrera, and America
Yeah.
Ferrera's husband, who plays her husband in the movie too.
Yeah.
They are married
Yeah.
in real life.
Cracks me up.
It was just so entertaining. It was the kind of thing we were all looking forward to.
I
Everybody
think it was the
waiting for
longest,
that
and it was the
moment.
longest performance.
Yeah.
It was everybody was waiting for that moment,
And it did not
Everybody was.
disappoint,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
It was so
because usually when you're waiting for a moment at the Oscars and it comes, you usually go, oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was disappointing. That one
No,
actually
because they
lived up to it.
had the guy that played the piano and the first guitar player who was in the light pink. They wrote the song with.
Oh,
Yeah, well,
really?
Mark Ronson was
Yeah,
he was
they
on,
were-
he was on the bass guitar. Him and Ryan at the very start of the song.
Who's the other one? There was Slash and
Well, I don't know, but Mark Ronson, that's Uptown Funk. Mark Ronson, he did Uptown Funk with
no,
Bruno.
who was? There was another one that was with Slash playing the guitar too.
Well, it was Mark Ronson and Slash were the two people on the guitar.
No,
They
there
were
was a
the-
third one. There was
I don't know if there was a third.
I don't think
Hang
so.
on,
Oh boy!
I was reading a lot of BuzzFeed articles.
Well, I mean, there were people playing piano and stuff. I don't know, but I'm
Yeah.
saying Mark Ronson and Slash were the two guitar players at the end. Because Mark Ronson did the score for the movie and wrote
Right.
the
Right.
song and
Right.
stuff, and did a great job. It's interesting because, like, I do think I'm Just Ken should have won the Oscar. I think it was. I'm not saying it's a better. I just think it's a better original song for a movie, whereas that could be any Billie Eilish song.
Well, here's
and
the
she's
thing.
great, but I'm
This-
saying like
this is the argument when it comes to best song. Do you award a song that's more integral to the plot and part of the plot, or
That's
do you just put a song on that
That's a
plays
good
during the
song.
credits or something?
because
like
that's
that?
what it was like, you know. Like I'm Just Ken is part of the movie, like whereas, what am I made? That was like at the end of the movie, which
And it's beautifully done in the movie. It is absolutely gorgeous.
it's at the very end before the credits, and it is. and they're very hard to compare songs. They're totally different, but it's hard for me. I would have voted for I'm Just Ken just because, like, that's important to the movie and, like, the character. You know what I mean?
Well, let's give props to Billie Eilish and her brother.
Phineas,
They got, that's her second Oscar.
The second Oscar, and what, she's 22? 22 years old. She's got 2 Oscars already.
Yep.
Yes.
Which is awesome, and it's amazing.
Yeah. So now she's going to be the go-to gal for, like, getting... She's going to be the next Diane Warren, except Diane Warren never
wins. Never going to win.
She's a fantastic singer, and everyone's like, well, I'm like, no, she really, like, there's a whole documentary on her.
She's awesome. I love her.
Oh, no,
and
she's amazing.
And Turning Red... Her and her brother wrote this, like, music to that one, too, which is...
That's awesome.
It's an awesome, hilarious movie. Yeah. And, like, I know people, like, it got, like... People like, it was okay, because it wasn't released in theaters. It was released on Disney+.
It was a weird time.
It was because it was COVID.
Because it was COVID. So
but, like, we watched it at our house the day it came out, and I loved the soundtrack then. And I'm like, who wrote this? I'm like, oh, okay. Like, this is great.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'd say let her do... a song for every movie. Let's just... I was thinking about this, too, like... And I think we've talked about it on the podcast before, but, like... The movie song has really just... It doesn't exist anymore like it used to. It used to be, like... Especially in the 80s and 90s was the peak for this. Where, like...
The Free Willy song still plays in my head. Michael
yeah,
Jackson.
but I mean, like, where you would have, like, a movie and, like, the song for the movie would be the number one song in the country. And, like... I'm talking My Heart Will Go On, and like, and they would feed into each other, where it would be like the song and the video would have stuff from the movie, and like that doesn't exist anymore. There's no like used to be, when it was like Will Smith is like
Men in Black,
but the song Men in Black was like just as big.
And what was the Wild West movie did?
Yeah, Wild Wild West,
and that song, and like
that song was the number one song, and like. This doesn't, you can go back to Power of Love for Back to the Future and like
Space Jam.
Yeah,
Space Jam. I mean, come on, Top Gun had like
Top Gun had
Danger Zone and Take My Breath Away.
Yeah, so like
Dirty Dancing.
Yeah, it's like they don't. They just don't do songs like that anymore.
No, let's bring this back.
Bring it back.
This is it. We have declared Hollywood needs to bring this back.
The music industry is so different now.
Yeah.
Like. But I wish it would, because, like, the most popular song in the country would be the song from the most popular movie in the world.
And the music video.
The music video. The video would have clips from the movie, and
then then the singer's standing on some, like, random seaside with the wind blowing, and they go clips to the movie. Andrea's agreeing
when you
with
think
us.
about it, I mean, even Titanic had that.
Yep.
So,
oh, God, yeah.
Yeah, so, I mean... Yes, I'm Just Ken, the highlight of the show. I mean, it was just the best part.
I kept waiting, and as soon as you guys said, okay, it dropped, I'm like, all right.
Okay, so one more thing we got to talk about.
Okay.
John Mulaney.
Oh, he was so
Amanda
good.
was not watching this. So just a little insider for you guys. The next podcast, sneak preview, we're going to tell you right now, it's going to be sports movies.
Yep.
Okay?
Sports
ball
movies.
And we're doing Field of Dreams, obviously, because how can you not do Field of Dreams?
You
Everyone
have to
loves
do
Field of Dreams. If you don't...
There's something psychiatrically wrong with you.
Yeah, it's a pathological thing. I'm worried. So we're picking the movies for this, right? And, we're going to have to do more sports movies podcasts because there's
I
want
to do a comedy sports movies.
Yes, that would be great. However, Amanda said she knows someone who doesn't like... Field of Dreams. Would you like to care to comment on this, Amanda?
My husband and I got into it for a hot minute.
So David, who doesn't listen to this podcast, it doesn't matter.
I'm gonna make
because he doesn't
days.
agree with our choices. I don't know.
Oh,
so what did he say?
I don't remember. He texted the group. He had strong feelings.
He had very strong.
He doesn't
feelings.
like it. He didn't. Why didn't he like it? I'll have to get the. I'm gonna have to record him ranting on why he doesn't like it.
We're gonna do in depth.
He is a Tigers fan though, so like his original choice was The Sandlot.
No, good movie, but no,
because he loves The Sandlot, and then For the Love of the Game.
Yeah, where Kevin Costner pitches per game as a Tiger. John C. Reilly's the catcher,
and David loves the Detroit Tigers, so those are in his mind.
I'm
are
a Tigers
his
fan too, Manda.
Two.
This has nothing,
Baseball
literally
movies.
nothing to do with Field of Dreams.
No, but he just. What did he? I can't. I have. Oh, now I gotta go look.
Okay,
it up.
when we record the podcast, you're gonna get all his points on why. You told me you
God.
said it was overrated.
He said it was overrated.
Wow.
He said it was. Where's our text thread? Oh wait, here's the text thread. I gotta go back because he texted.
Oh, that was him?
That was him texting. Didn't you see? Like this was David. Hang on, gotta find it.
So, anyways, how this relates to the Oscars is John Mulaney got up there to do a bit. Well, he presented something, right?
Yeah, he did present an Oscar.
And he just went on this tangent about Field of Dreams.
He gave the whole plot.
Well, it doesn't matter. But you could tell that you're like, that dude loves Field of Dreams.
Yeah, absolutely.
I was texting Alyssa during the Oscars. I'm like, you like Field of Dreams, right? And she's like, what kind of monster do you think I am?
I'm in the pickle. Okay, wait, we're in there. We're getting there. Oh, Madison was upset that our basketball movie was not Space Jam, by the way.
No, but that would be a good one
That's a
for a
comedy.
second, too. I grew up with the Space Jam poster on my wall.
Okay.
I love Michael
Alright.
Jordan.
Madison hates the second one. She said LeBron James is overrated.
Wow.
Well, he's not better than Michael Jordan. He's still very good. Like, we don't need to get into that debate.
Okay, I'm almost there. This is David. Fields of Dreams is 1,000% overrated. For the Love of the Game or Sandlot are the only true viable baseball movies.
Oh,
Let's not forget
Only
the
true-
little-known doc, The Battered Bastards of Baseball.
Okay, so that was an interesting Netflix doc about 10 years ago, and it was like Kurt Russell's dad was on that team. Very interesting. So the only two viable baseball movies, he doesn't even mention A League of Their Own, which we're also doing.
Which, no, it's
So-
like that movie is on repeat in our house because we have girls and my kids can... Someday we are going to he is going to dress as Tom Hanks and the three of us are going to go as the Georgia...
Are you going to be Dottie?
I don't know.
It turned into...
You should be Betty Spaghetti.
Oh, that's a good one, too.
It turned into this whole big
Oh my God, but
controversy.
And then someone's like, what did... You said something about Talladega Nights.
Yeah.
And I'm like, if we throw in the Sandlot, let's just do Talladega Nights. And David's like, Ricky Bobby? He's making fun of Ricky Bobby?
Oh my God.
Well, David loves Talladega Nights. It's a complete parody on NASCAR. And like,
Well, I know
when
that,
David and I
but-
first started dating, NASCAR was his thing. Like, we had, like, Andrea Marsh.
Anyway.
We can go down this whole rabbit hole. Oh my
But
Let's
John
not-
Mulaney,
Let's not.
He was so good, and you're just like, he should host next year. And everyone's
that's
saying
what
that.
we said in our text as we were going back and forth. It's like, there's your next host.
I don't think Jimmy Kimmel will give it up for a few more years.
No, if he's smart, he should not do it
He
next
should stop.
time.
Yeah.
Because he's done it 2 in a row and 3 times overall. If he keeps doing it, people will hate on it, no matter how good he is.
I want Kate McKinnon.
She would be great, too. They need to change it up.
I'd like to see a woman host.
Yeah,
It's
I
been
mean,
a while since a woman has.
I'd like to see a woman
I
host.
think only 2 women have ever. Well,
no,
Anne
you had
Hathaway.
Whoopi
if you-
Goldberg. You
Well,
had
Whoopi, Ellen, and Anne Hathaway did.
Anne Hathaway. I think there was one
co-hosted.
other one that did it too. But
No, but
maybe
remember
not.
they did a few years with no host, and that was
Oh,
dumb.
that was terrible.
Just people overreact to the hosting thing so
Yeah.
much. Like I say, like I always tell Marty, like I just want them to land the plane, man. I'm not asking for miracles. Just land the plane.
You
Okay.
know, bring back Billy Crystal. No, nobody.
Oh, one other thing we didn't talk about: Al Pacino.
I missed.
Well, I'm
didn't
sorry.
watch
I
that.
still think he was blasted out of his mind.
So he's presenting Best Picture. He gets up there. He looks like scared. I don't know what's happening. He's looking at the envelope like he doesn't know how to work an envelope.
Oh my god.
And then he's just like, he doesn't announce any of the nominees. He just opens the
I
envelope.
got an envelope here.
I got an envelope.
Here
I
it
see
says,
the word
"That's
Oppenheimer.
Oppenheimer.
What was he
That
presenting
is not
for?
how Al Pacino.
That's picture.
Yeah, and then the music played, and I got scared. I was like, oh no. I was having flashbacks. I'm like, something went wrong. I was having Warren
Jimmy
Beatty
Kimmel.
flashbacks.
But Oppenheimer did win.
Yeah, it was legit.
But Pacino, it just I thought we were headed toward another La La Land Moonlight moment.
Lord. That's...
But what did Jimmy Kimmel say after?
So after Emma Stone won, he said, tear up that envelope. Because that's... Emma Stone won in 2016. And the way that whole... If you don't know how that If you remember, Warren Beatty and Faye Dunaway announced La La Land as Best Picture winner, even though
Right.
Moonlight won. And it was a whole...
I remember that.
Yeah, it was very embarrassing, very awkward. What happened was they accidentally got their hands on the Best Actress envelope.
I guess there's two of them. At every award show, and they got the...
But it said Emma Stone... La La Land, but Faye Dunaway just saw La La Land, and Warren Beatty knew this wasn't right. So anyways, that's why when Emma Stone won this time, Jimmy said, tear that up.
Because I think they get to keep an envelope with
Yeah,
their name.
they do. They get to keep one.
But they have, in case anything happens to the envelopes, they have two sets of them.
Yeah, Price
That's-
Waterhouse
Yeah, I mean-
does all that.
Yeah.
So anyways, but we landed the plane, Marty and Amanda, and Al did not screw it up.
We'll just have to do a watch party next year.
That would be fun.
Al Pacino, like I said, I thought that he was drunk. That's what I thought.
I don't know if he was drunk. It just looked like he looked like he was up too late. It was way past his bedtime.
It was way past his bed. It was only like 5 or 6 o'clock at night out there. Though.
He's 83 years old.
Well, plus he lives in New York, I think, most of the
yeah,
time.
and it didn't look like they rehearsed anything.
Probably
It's just
not.
like, ugh,
But
I got an envelope here.
it wasn't a disaster. So
say
on
a
that
word.
note, I think any final thoughts?
No, I thought this was going to be a short one, but this is almost an hour.
We can't do any show.
Don't do
You can't do
short.
short.
We did short.
It
It was 40 minutes.
Well, we will, next time we join together, it's going to be on sports movies.
There will be a long segment on Field of Dreams and its greatness.
And its greatness.
It'll be entitled Field of Dreams and its greatness.
And it's going to be...
That's going to be the title of the podcast, Marty. Promise me.
I promise you that.
Manda
and
and
the
Ben
greatness.
talk about Field of Dreams and
I haven't
its
watched
greatness.
this movie in forever.
There will be safe cheeses and
cheese.
no
No
pickles. No pickles.
This is the only time that there will be safe cheeses and no pickles.
No, this is how every time should be, right,
No,
Marty?
I totally agree with that.
Marty
No.
is all aboard Safe Cheeses now.
Yeah, because I do not want to be forced to eat pickles.
He can't risk it.
Anyway, so this is the end of the bonus episode of Library Nerds with Words, our Oscar edition. We will be coming back next Monday with the regular episode with Lynette Suko, the assistant head of adult services. So until that time, everyone, stay pickle-free and nerdy. Thank you for listening to Library Nerds with Words, Peter White Public Library's weekly podcast, giving you the word on what's cool at the library. The theme for the podcast is Happy Clappy by John Bartman, used courtesy of Pixabay. This episode was written and produced by Martin Acketts and sponsored by Peter White Public Library. Until next week, pick up a good book, listen to some good music, watch a good movie, attend a great event, and remember, library nerds are the coolest people around.